Welcome to the seventh video on the seminar about using social media as an academic. In this one, we're going to discuss very briefly how to use Twitter for networking. Some of this advice can, of course, be applied to other social networks like LinkedIn or ResearchGate, but from my point of view, there are some differences in Twitter that make it a bit more interesting, where I find it a bit more appealing. Uh, First of all, in Twitter, relationships are not reciprocal. So, unlike LinkedIn, for instance, you don't need to beg for someone. You allow you to join their network. You simply find people, you create account, you find people that you consider interesting for you, even for research or for teaching, and you start following them, right? Of course, you can use the Twitter search engine to look for um, topics and people, but usually you're going to learn about Twitter handles and Twitter usernames on academics' web pages. You're going to find them probably in their email signature, or for some journals and conferences, you're going to find the Twitter handle in the contact information of a given user. If you want to make this a bit more systematic, you can follow the advice um, shown in this paper. You can find the link in the slides. And the idea is that you should follow people with similar experiences to yours. So if in your institution you you know of any event to increase or to promote networking among recently hired educators or researchers, go to that event and try to find if those people are using Twitter. Um, or if you enroll in any training action similar to this, try to find if those people are using Twitter and start following them. Then you can also try to follow people with whom you already have some kind of contact. If you have exchanged email with some person for whatever the reason, if it's related to academic issues, you can find if they are on Twitter and start following them. Or you can follow people you have worked with in a project proposal, in a grant proposal, etc. Follow people with shared interests. If you learn about someone using Twitter in a conference or in a workshop and you find that person interesting, follow them. If you find someone interesting in a venue, for instance, a journal you are publishing in, start following them and try to follow those people that you find interesting and that you're reading about their research, or they are citing your research. Try to find if they have a Twitter account and start following them. So the basic idea here is follow interesting people for your research or your teaching, and you're growing, you're weaving a network here where you're sharing probably backgrounds and interests with these persons. This network is actually a fishing net, okay? By weaving this tight network of shared interests and backgrounds, you don't need to obsess about being up to date with your field, because in your timeline you're going to see once and again, especially when something is really interesting or appealing for your community. If you're following plenty of people from that community, it's not going to appear just once, it's going to appear repeatedly because of retweets. So you're going to learn about relevant information, you're going to learn about new ideas, new trends, new tools, new papers. So um, it's going to be extremely important for you. Needless to say, weaving a fishing net takes time and you need care for that network. That means that you're going to follow new accounts and you're going to unfollow some accounts. It's not personal, it's business, academic business, you're going to find people whose retweets are really interesting and people whose retweets are not that interesting for you. You don't need to receive everything from everybody. You can decide that for some people you want only their tweets, and for other people you really value both their tweets and their retweets. You're going to find accounts that are so smart, that are so bright that you don't want to miss a tweet. So you're going to turn on notifications for them, and others that tweet too much. So you're not going to have the notifications for them, but you're going to rely on their stuff appearing in the timeline. With time, you're going to mute 13 words, and from time to time, you'll need to block trolls. That's unavoidable. At this moment, you're just consuming Twitter. But the thing is that once you start having this network, you're starting to see these people chatting among them, interacting among them, sooner or later, you're going to raise your hand and you're going to start involving yourselves in those conversations. Sooner or later, you're going to reply to some of those tweets. You're going to mention some of those accounts. And sooner or later, you're going to start interacting and establishing some kind of personal relationship with those persons. Okay? They are not going to be colleagues or friends. They're just people you know on Twitter. But it's people you know on Twitter, you talk to them, and they share probably backgrounds and interests with you. So, sooner or later, a few of those people are going to start following you. They are going to start retweeting you, and people that were unaware of your existence in their circles are going to learn about you, and some of them are going to start following you. So when I'll discuss audiences, I'm going to tell you that I don't know how to grow up an audience. I trust on earning an audience. And the thing is that while you're weaving that network, in that network with thousands of people, a few of them, maybe five, maybe a dozen, in the future, they will want to collaborate with you. Because among all of those people sharing backgrounds and interests, a few of them are going to be perfectly aligned with you, and you are going to be perfectly aligned with them. So it's going to be simply natural to discuss possible work, research, collaborations, right? And that's my piece of advice, my 5 cents in weaving collaboration networks on Twitter. In the next video, we're going to discuss how to disseminate our work.